There is a place in the Gauteng province of South Africa where the rock does something it is not supposed to do. 3 kilometers beneath the surface of the Witwatersrand Basin, a geological formation nearly 2.7 billion years old, miners have documented chambers and fracture systems whose walls meet at angles so precise, so perpendicular, that engineers working there have quietly set down their instruments and stared. Not at something irregular, at something impossibly irregular. The official tourist plaques above, near Carletonville, speak of ancient sedimentary conglomerates and hydrothermal gold emplacement. They do not mention the geometry. They never mention the geometry. To understand what makes this anomalous, you must first understand what the rock should look like. The Witwatersrand gold exists in a reef, a single layer of ancient conglomerate, sometimes barely 1 meter thick, draped across the interior of what geologists believe was once a vast Archean inland sea. Faults in this environment do not produce rectangles. They produce the fractal geometry of geological stress, curved shear zones, anastomosing fractures, broken and tumbling surfaces that carry the chaotic fingerprint of a planet in motion. That is the language of tectonics. It is written in every geology textbook from here to Zurich. And yet, in the deepest levels of the Mponeng Mine, a shaft that descends 4 kilometers below the surface, a depth at which rock temperatures exceed 50 degrees Celsius and the pressure threatens to compress the air itself, there are sections where the walls are flat, the corners are square, and the corridors follow orientations that no known tectonic process produces with such uniformity. The hypothesis that mainstream academia will not formally investigate is this: that some of what we are excavating through, some of what we are blasting through and calling natural, may be the remnants of an earlier industrial civilization whose shafts we have mistaken for geology. The Earth, in this model, is not simply a cemetery of biological organisms. It is a cemetery of infrastructure. Now, let us be precise, because precision is what this subject demands. There is a natural process that produces geometric structures in rock. It is called columnar jointing, the same mechanism that sculpts the hexagonal basalt columns of the Giant's Causeway in Ireland, or the vertical prisms of the Deccan Traps in India. When a thick body of lava or an igneous intrusion cools slowly and uniformly, thermal contraction generates a network of fractures that organize themselves with mathematical inevitability into roughly 6-sided columns. This is textbook geology. Its physics are unimpeachable. But columnar jointing produces hexagons, not rectangles. The angular geometry found in specific deep sections of the Witwatersrand mines and documented with quiet discomfort in the geological literature of the region does not match the thermal contraction model. It matches something else: the orthogonal fracture sets produced by Dolerite dikes that cut across the Witwatersrand succession, yes, but these dikes, when examined under their own known formation physics, do not account for the scale or the precision of the rectangular chambers being encountered at depth.
Frederick Henry Hatch, the British economic geologist who published The Gold Mines of the Rand in 1895, a work still cited by the Geological Society of South Africa, recorded his discomfort with the unusual planarity of certain underground surfaces he encountered during early surveys of the western deep levels area. He attributed it, carefully, to structural controls not yet fully elucidated. In the language of 19th century geology, that phrase carries significant weight. It means, I have no explanation for this. There is also the matter of pseudotachylite, a black, glassy rock formed when rock surfaces are subjected to extreme friction or impact energy so intense that the material momentarily melts and resolidifies within microseconds. It is found extensively throughout the Vredefort dome, the 2-billion-year-old meteorite impact structure that sits at the center of the entire Witwatersrand gold system. Geologists have confirmed this. What the debate, quietly, is how much of the rectangular fracturing in the deeper reef systems
is impact-related and how much preceded the impact entirely. This is not a phenomenon confined to the Witwatersrand. 3 locations, separated by vast ocean and 10,000 years of recorded history, share a structural fingerprint that demands acknowledgement rather than silence. In northwestern Eswatini, the Lion Cavern at the Ngwenya mine contains evidence, confirmed by optically stimulated luminescence dating published in Nature Communications in 2024, of systematic, deliberate excavation dating back 48,000 years. The galleries cut into the hematite-bearing rock display what archaeologists call artificial shafts, vertical, deliberately shaped, with tool marks indicating organized, repeated extraction. 48,000 years ago. The tools were Dolerite, the same igneous rock that forms the dykes cutting through the Witwatersrand below. In Michigan's Upper Peninsula, on Isle Royale, archaeologists have documented ancient copper extraction pits that date, via radiocarbon, to over 5,000 years ago. What unsettles the researchers is the consistency of their cross-section, rectangular, oriented, and of a uniform depth that suggests a knowledge of the ore body's geometry that should not have been possible without instruments we do not associate with that period. In Laurion, Greece, the silver mines that funded the Athenian fleet at the Battle of Salamis preserve underground galleries cut to rectangular cross-sections with a geometric accuracy that still surprises modern mining engineers who visit the site. The same structure, the same proportions, the same deliberate right angle replicated across continents and millennia. The same structure, the same anomaly, the same uncomfortable silence from the institutions that should be asking why. There is a concept in the sociology of knowledge called institutional inertia, the tendency of established disciplines to continue moving in the direction they were already moving, even when the terrain has changed beneath them. It is not conspiracy. It is something more persistent, and in some ways more troubling. It is the simple human reluctance to redraw a map that has already been printed, distributed, and taught to children for 4 generations. The map we were given says that deep, geometrically precise underground structures in ancient rock are the product of tectonic stress, columnar jointing, or hydrothermal fracturing. That map is useful. It has built careers and funded universities. But the map and the reality standing 4 kilometers below the South African earth are not identical documents. They describe different things. And the gap between them, that quiet, rectangular, 50-degree gap, is not getting smaller with time. The question that no official plaque will ask is this: if 48,000 years of deliberate underground excavation in southern Africa leaves behind galleries that even modern archaeologists mistake for natural formations, what would 100,000 years of such work look like?